It's food and wine.
Colorful edition.
Hey there, man fam! It is time for EPCOT's International Festival of the Arts, the first festival of the new year.
We are headed to enjoy the visual arts, the performing arts, and of course the culinary arts as we take you around and explore the best of what Festival of the Arts has to offer. So grab your passports and let's Van Gogh. I've been waiting all year to break that one out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you. Coming into the park, I always have to point out this. It's my favorite detail in the displays. You've got Figment here and you've got the Pigment of Imagination colors, but he spilled some of his royal purple pigment in the flower bed and you can see the flowers change colors where the paint spilled. Just a cute little detail that I love. EPCOT's Festival of the Arts kicked off on January 17th and it runs through February 24th. And like I said, this festival features the visual arts. There are art studios with artisans from around the world where you can purchase things. There are chalk characters hidden around World Showcase, and you can even put yourself into famous works of art. They celebrate the performing arts by having Disney Broadway stars come perform live every single night, and there's an all-new exhibit celebrating 30 years of Disney on Broadway, which I am so excited to check out. And of course, like any good EPCOT festival, we celebrate the culinary arts with dozens of food studios around the park serving up dishes that are works of art themselves. Alan.
Yes.
What are you most excited to eat when we peruse the menus? What looked good to you?
There's a Wellington that I would well like to have inside my belly.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Listen, it was shaky on the landing, but I think I got at least a 9 out of 10. And what about you?
Okay, well, there is a cold brew cocktail that I love every year, and I'm glad it's back, so I'm excited to have that again. But y'all, there is a deviled egg flight. Your girl loves a deviled egg. I can't wait. 2 things we always pick up at every EPCOT festival. First of all, you gotta get your festival passport. They have these up at the front. This is everything you need for the festival. It's got all the information about all of the shows, it's got the menus, and it's got the wonderful Walk of Color Cuisine, which is our food crawl at this festival in the back. And bonus about the Festival of the Arts one, it's a flip book, and if you watch Figment in the corner, he does a little scoot on some paint.
We also pick up our gift cards so that we can track our spending, because once money is on this, well, it's fake money at that point, so hey, we get to spend it. And actually, speaking of our budgets, we asked you, like we do every year, what each of us should spend, and you told us $100 per person was our budget this year for Festival of the Arts.
As a note, we are going to try to stick to a $200 total budget, but we also got a lot of DMs of people being like, I don't have a budget. So we'll see what happens, but we're going to do our best.
Yeah, we'll see where the Figment takes us.
Last year, Figment made me buy extra beer.
Yeah, Figment did that.
Yeah, so we'll see what he does this year. Whilst picking up our gift cards, also checked out this festival's scavenger hunt, Figment's Brush with the Masters. They have hidden famous works of art featuring Figment all over the park, and if you purchase the scavenger hunt, you can place the stickers where they belong, and once you're done, you can turn it in for a prize. The prizes this year are stencils. You can choose from Mickey, Minnie, or Figment. All of them also come with Spaceship Earth, but this is a cute way to get your kids excited to walk around World Showcase and explore, while parents, you can enjoy eating and drinking about the festival. First stop, we are at Culinary Hall to check out the brand new Once Upon a Stage exhibit. This is celebrating 30 years of Disney on Broadway, and I gotta say, from the sneak peek Disney shared with Michael James Scott, who plays the genie in Aladdin, it looks amazing, and I'm very excited. And I feel like this may be the pizzazz that Culinary Hall needed to not look like an airplane terminal.
Oh, look at, oh my gosh, look at this.
Oh my gosh! Pumbaa!
Ah! I don't know, I'm more about Zaz. Oh, okay, of course, the hyenas. This giraffe is so cool.
Can you imagine wearing that? You have to be on stilts on your hands and your feet.
And look at the extension from your head and neck. Like, that's a lot of effort.
So talented. This is seriously so cool. They have the Mask and Puppet Workshop with Lion King, and you can read about how they designed all of these incredible puppets and masks for Lion King, which obviously I'm most entranced by the hyenas right here. You got all 3 of them, Shenzi, Bonsai, and Ed. And then you also have props, real props that have been used on Broadway. Like, this is a book from Beast Library. You've got baby Simba and young Simba. And then over here, you have the costume studio featuring Aladdin. So now you can learn about the intricate costume design. And just like, look at the beading work on here. Look at all that detail on Jasmine's costume that, frankly, a lot of people are never going to see because you're further away on a Broadway show. But is this not just stunning? So detailed. So much love went into these costumes. This is amazing.
It's a perfect time to introduce this with the backing track we have playing. Here we have Elsa's Coronation Orb and Scepter, which look awesome, as well as possibly one of my favorite things in the world, and that is the rose from Beauty and the Beast. And they also have a couple of photo ops, like Molly is so beautifully demonstrating with the lamp. That is a vigorous set of rubbing on the lamp there. And now, thank you, Vanna. Oh, wow, look at this. What a photo shoot. And here we have a variety of costumes from a whole host of Disney productions: Mary Poppins, Elsa, Anna, Aladdin, and this one right here, which is most important to me because this is Hercules, which is debuting on the West End this summer. And I want to see this so badly.
We have a few props from Newsies as well, and they have these really cool set models which are designed by the set designers to show you what their inspiration and what their idea of the set is going to be. So you have a little miniature model here of Newsies, and these are all real. These are things that they actually build to use for these productions. You've got Anna and Elsa's bedroom from Frozen, and then my favorite of these, you've got 17 Cherry Tree Lane from Mary Poppins. That was awesome.
I really enjoyed that exhibit. It's a lot of very cool stuff packed into that space.
That is how you use Communicore Hall. Love to see it. I hope they do something in there for every festival from now on and in between festivals.
Yes.
Because that is how you use that space. And now we've got some music bumping and some food to eat.
We are getting Festival of the Arts kicked off. We stopped by Opening Bites, which is apropos, and picked up the cheddar and chive scone with smoked salmon salad topped with a creme fraiche and caviar. This beautiful enchanted rose, this is a milk chocolate rose with a raspberry and rose center, as well as their beer flight. Now we have been jamming out to some of the great live performance here in Communicore Plaza. He was absolutely crushing it. I've never seen somebody play a guitar while also throwing it, but it is certainly something to check out here. This is part of the performing arts that are on display here, and honestly, I was having a great time. All right, let's get into the food though. I don't know how I'm supposed to do this. It seems like a good place to start. Cheers. All right, that took me a while to process. The scone is far more like a biscuit, which is not a bad thing. I really enjoy it. The texture's buttery, light, fluffy. Same can be said for the salmon. I'm not always a salmon guy, especially not like a salmon salad, so to speak, but this is really light, fluffy, airy, doesn't taste super fishy. You can taste the dill and the capers in there. Really what's selling it for me is the creme fraiche. Boy, did I wish there was more creme fraiche on there because that really seals the whole deal. It's light and creamy. I gotta be honest, I didn't think that I would enjoy this as much as I have been. I've been clearly taking a number of bites. So yeah, this is a great enjoyment. Also, if you see the fish eggs on top, the caviar, don't be put off by it. If anything, it's just going to taste slightly salty. You're not going to actually taste any fish.
First of all, I got distracted by the Forces of Nature acrobats happening here in the gardens. Now these do happen all the time. This is not a Festival of the Arts specific thing, but I do think it fits with the performing arts. They're incredibly talented, and if the main performer who's portraying, I believe, Mother Nature, and the other four ladies are the elements, but if Mother Nature looks frightfully familiar to you, then maybe you watched the acrobatic show at Halloween Horror Nights last year. Anyway, let's get into this milk chocolate rose, which is the first item on the wonderful Walk of Colorful Cuisine.
Nice.
This is the food crawl at this festival, which encourages you to try different things. Throughout your time at the festival, you can try any 5 of these. You can try the same thing 5 times. You can get 5 different ones, mix and match, different days. It doesn't matter, but for each one, you're gonna get a stamp. And then once you've collected 5 stamps, you will get a redemption prize. I'm ready for this. This is beautiful. Ooh. Disney loves a mousse. They love a mousse-based dessert.
They really do.
It's raspberry and rose flavor, and you can definitely taste the floral notes of the rose. I actually wish the tart raspberry fruit flavor was more forward, and I wish there was more of this filling altogether. But overall, if you like chocolate mousse, this is pretty and you'll like it, but it's probably not gonna be my favorite dessert. All right, beer flight time. We have the Parrish Brewing Company Sips Candy Paint Berlinger Weiss from Louisiana, the Von Trapp Brewing Bohemian Pilsner from Stowe, Vermont, and the Crooked Can Brewing Company Fantasia Fusion IPA, local to Winter Garden, Florida. I've been there. What are you trying first?
I'm gonna do the Fusion IPA.
The Fusion IPA. I'm gonna see if this beer is alive with the sound of music.
It is the same Von Trapp family.
It is the Von Trapp family. They have a house in Stowe, Vermont, like the real Von Trapps.
Oop. Oh. That's a light, crispy IPA. Easy drinking, which is difficult to say for IPAs most of the time. I like that.
I'm gonna say it. I gotta say it. This is a beer that tastes like beer, quote my grandpa.
Yeah.
It's a light, crisp, refreshing beer. Reminds me of like a Stella, Heineken.
Whoa! I don't know what I was anticipating. This is a fruity, sour beer. It's a Berliner Weiss, so it's light.
Ooh, I like that IPA.
But yeah, right, it's so good.
Yeah.
This is a fruitier beer. Oh, a little sour, a little tart, not overly so.
This is a fun beer flight.
Yeah,
I'm
I like
enjoying
that.
this. I'm enjoying all three. Now, Alan, I must ask you, inspired by this beer, what's your favorite song in The Sound of Music?
Edelweiss.
Oh, beautiful. I like 16 going on 17.
You are 16 going on 17.
I know that I'm naive.
That's true.
I am 16 going on 17. I know that I'm naive.
Well,
Yeah, this is a fun flight.
I enjoy that.
Good first stop.
As we are sitting here enjoying our beer flight, I would like to talk to you about the allergy-friendly menus that you can find here while at the festival. You have a QR code that you can scan inside of your Festival of the Arts passport, or when you are in the My Disney Experience app, you can go to each of the individual food studio menus and see their digital menu. And at the very bottom of those menus, you can actually see the individual allergen items for the dishes on each menu. Now, if it's not listed here, please talk to the cast members at those individual food studios. They are more than willing to assist you, and have, in the past, at least for me, even called a chef to ensure that there was no cross-contamination or there is not the ingredient that I am allergic to in any of the dishes that I would like to try. And it can be a bit confusing, so for you folks who do have a food allergy or dietary restriction, at the base it's going to have the item in listed, then it's going to say for peanut, tree nut, sesame, and soy, for example. That means if you have a peanut, tree nut, sesame, or soy allergy, then this dish is for you because it does not have any of those ingredients in it.
As part of the visual arts throughout the festival, you have these different studios set up where you can purchase art. A lot of it is Disney inspired, of course. I've purchased some really fun pieces of art for my office here before by one of my favorite Disney artists, Will Gay. You've got a lot of art by Dom Corona here. He does his art for the Four Seasons a lot, but it's really fun and colorful. Alan bought a few pieces last year, and he's actually working here live. That's kind of fun. You can often see the artist in action painting on stage, which is really cool. We just talked to Dom for a few minutes, and he said his favorites, the Stitch, and then he likes the roller skating Mickey and Donald as well. But this is so fun. Oh, the juice box!
I also love this one. Do you see this?
Oh my gosh, his color scheme is so fun. Alan bought a version of this for his office last year.
I did.
Now these aren't Dom, but in the same booth, and I gotta shout out Cowboy Kermit right here is excellent. And if I had $5,500 to spare, that may be coming home. How dare you? Also, if the artist is there, ask them if they'll sign your print. Oh my goodness. This is beautiful.
I love that art.
Fun fact, this is Walt Disney's favorite piece of animation the studio ever did, Cinderella's transformation.
I can see
Oh
why.
my gosh, so beautiful. Okay, now I'm gonna cry at art because of this Mickey shadow painting.
I also love Remy, but that one's gut-crushing.
My heart.
Before we hit any more booze, Molly, let me see your paint. We are headed to the expression section. Wow, that is a tongue twister. And that is a paint by numbers where you can add to a, frankly, huge mural that will slowly grow over time as more folks add their colors to the mix. You'll pick up your paint, you pick up your I hesitate to call this brush, a sponge, and you'll be able to paint 8 squares.
Right here. Isla, look right here.
Go like this.
Okay, here.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so
Get
bad
in
at
the
this.
stroller. Come on, Harper.
After our displays of just incredible artistry, we have received the bookmark that shows the finished art of what we are all actually working towards. So it looks like you have a monorail going around the parks here at EPCOT. This is
I worked
so
on
nice.
the monorail. You
Oh,
worked on the sky.
I did clouds. I did
Yeah,
clouds.
nice.
That makes sense.
Making our way into World Showcase to eat some more. And just for reference, the mural is across the way there as you head into World Showcase from Imagination. But one of the fun things around the festival are these photo ops, which put you into the art. Some of them are the art of Disney animation, like the Sleeping Beauty one. Some of them are famous works of art.
Another one of the great features of Festival of the Arts, going to the visual art medium, is the chalk art here, which is a chalk art gallery featuring some very, very neat drawings. I absolutely love this colorful Mickey here. We have Moana, Ant-Man. Oh, and then we're also having some, I shouldn't say actual because this is all art, but some more famous artwork here as well. Figment, our host himself. This feature here looks a little bit like Bert drew it.
We could just pop into it and get there.
We could. Ready? You want to jump?
Ready?
I don't think that's allowed.
Ready? Let's just jump right here. It'll
All right,
work.
all right, ready?
1, 2, 3. Wow, we did it.
Oh
We
my
did it.
gosh, guys, look at that.
Wow.
Whoa.
It happened.
That's,
Magic is real.
oh.
And my favorite chalk art to look at every year is whatever Nate Baranowski is working on. He's literally working on it right now. He does these amazing optical illusion pieces. This one is Hulk, so if you stand where he tells you to and then you have a friend take a picture from the other side, it'll look like Hulk is holding you. And he does several of these throughout the festival, and they're always mind-blowing. And he just told us that he draws them digitally on a tablet and then puts them right here. And I was like, do you ever worry the optical illusion won't work? And he's like, not anymore, because he's done this so many times and he's incredibly talented.
Are you ever just reminded of how talentless you are?
Yeah, I feel like compared to artists,
Right
nothing.
now, right now, yeah.
But speaking of chalk art, one of my favorite features of this festival is called the Chock full of character walk. Throughout the pavilions, in addition to the figments, you can search for chalk versions of favorite Disney characters in whatever country they'd be in. So keep an eye out for the Aristocat kittens in France, or maybe Duffy or one of his friends in Japan. I always like seeing who I can find throughout the pavilions. Another fun figment display, and it again has the paint that he has spilled with the flowers. Like this is Sparks Ignite Red spilled right here, and he's also spilled some yellow and orange on the other side. We did a new classic here at the EPCOT Festival. It's a little something we like to call the double booth boogie, where we go to where we divide and conquer and hit up 2 booths at once. I stopped by the new booth this year, Fictional Victuals, and got the Squid Ink Pasta, which is made with lump crab, truffle cream, and shaved truffle. Alan went to El Artista Hambriento, which is from Mexico, and picked up both the carne asada, which has got ancho marinated beef sirloin with pasilla chili sauce, grilled queso fresco, Napoles salad, which is cactus, and chicharron dust, as well as the croqueta, which is a chipotle chicken and chorizo croquette with a chipotle salsa and chipotle aioli, avocado mousse, and truffle oil. Let me just say, I wish smell-o-vision was a thing because the table smells exquisite right now. This smells fabulous. Squid ink. Trying to get some crab. It's in there. It's crab with a C, guys. This is exciting. This is phenomenal. Strong truffle flavor, which I love. I also like the little crunch from the panko on there to add a little bit change in texture. I'm not tasting a ton of the crab. It's finely shredded in there. So it's definitely there, but it's not super aggressive. Some people might want more crab. I'm fine with the amount there is. Love the nutty Parmesan cheese. This is a delicious pasta dish.
If this tastes half as good as it looks, we might have an instant best of the fest edition here. Okay, let's just, let's not stand on ceremony here. If I can fork the meat, we should be good to go. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty tasty. The meat is cooked well. It's a nice medium, so you're going to see just a little bit of pink in there. The sauce on the side, smoky, a little spicy, not super spicy, so it's not going to be overwhelming, even if you are spice averse. The unsung hero, though, is this salad here on the side. This brings the heat, a little acidic with the meat, and then griddled cheese, folks. You can't go wrong. This might just end up on my best of the fest list.
And now the croqueta. which I'm gonna cut. Should have gotten a knife. This was a mistake on our part. You know what? We're just gonna do this. Why get a knife when I can use nature's knife? Your mouth.
That's what people say.
I guess it's your teeth.
Yep, you could have gone with teeth.
The mouth, the mouth, the knife of nature. This has a ton of good flavor. This actually has a little bit of heat, so if you're spice adverse, I'd probably avoid this one. Not over the top, but I definitely know that it has spice. I love the smoky sauce on top, that chipotle sauce, and the inside filling is fantastic. My one note is that the exterior, the cornmeal, is a little bit thick and a little dry, which may be because we didn't eat it right away because we were filming and doing all the other things. So I always take that with a grain of salt, but overall, very, very delicious. However, between the two, ooh, what do you think?
Oh, it's 100%.
You think the steak? Yeah, I think the steak's better, but this one has a ton of good smoky flavor. So it's a close race in Mexico, as always.
Next up, we are headed into Figment's Inspiration Station, which is the Odyssey building that has been overtaken by Figment and is home to the hottest item of Festival of the Arts, and that is Figment's new popcorn bucket. Now, luckily, this is a mobile order item, so no 8-hour line waiting for you. You can just place it on mobile order so long as they have it available.
I love that they take over this building for the festivals with one of the themed booths, and Figment fans, you definitely got to come in here because not only can you see adorable Figment on the wall, but you can see animation from the original version of Figment's attraction. The first one, if you watch for long enough, some of the little Figment thought bubbles pop up, and that's got OG animation right there. Good news, Figment fans, there are plenty of popcorn buckets. You don't need to worry about them running out. And shout out to cast member Michelle, who demonstrated the different light settings of the popcorn bucket. It's very cute, I must admit. I'm not even a big Figment fan, but it's pretty cute.
From Figment's Inspiration Station, we have picked up the raspberry tart. This is a sugar cookie filled with raspberry and lemon filling, and I'm excited to give this a try. Now, I should note, this is on the wonderful Walk of Colorful Cuisine. That is a mouthful. There are also other items on this menu that we have tried before. For example, the beer flight. When all put together, both the beer and the cider flight, it becomes a rainbow, I'm told. Also a very tasty and fun beer flight. There is another cake that is on the menu that is a rainbow-style cake, which is fine. It's a pretty decent cake, but what you're really getting in for are the freeze-dried Skittles. Now for this pastry. You know, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna break it open. Okay. I think this is fine. Thankfully, it's not super sickly sweet, but I was trying to find the lemon, and the way that this is structured is you've got the raspberry in the middle and your lemon filling on either side. So it's really kind of a choose your own adventure treat. I don't have to get this again, but it is a fun homage to Figment. You know, the more I eat of this, it's more cookie than it is pastry, like a toaster breakfast pastry, which makes it overall sweeter than years past. So it's fine. If you like cookies, then this is right up your alley.
And speaking of years past, the Deconstructed Dish booth has returned. It's right outside Test Track, where you can get deconstructed dishes such as the BLT or the key lime pie, which is part of the wonderful Walk of Colorful Cuisine. We're opting not to go there, though, because we'd rather try new desserts, but that is pretty nice if you like key lime pie. Stopped by the Painted Panda, which is China's food studio. And while they do have the General Tso sashimi dumplings, which they've had in the years past, and those are pretty good, we decided to try a new dish, which are these shrimp dumplings that have pumpkin puree and a chili oil drizzle. You have me at pumpkin. It pains me to say that this is a pumpkin dish that is a no from me, dog. The shrimp were very fishy, shrimpy tasting, which I love shrimp and I didn't care for. And you know what? Shrimp and pumpkin don't go together in my heart. So that's probably going to be on my worst of the fest list, unfortunately. That didn't work for me. But what does work for me is eating this right by Mushu and Cricky. We found some of the chalk characters. On our way here, we saw Dante ×2 in Mexico, regular Dante and Alebrije Dante. We also saw the Snowgies from Frozen, as well as Bruni, the fire lizard from Frozen 2. Again, just a cute little detail. And I think if we go deeper to China, we might find a little brother. Yes, we have found little brother. And he's even got his stick. Mulan, ingenious device to feed the chickens. I'm gonna go pray some more. God, that movie's so good.
Up next on our stroll would be Refreshment Outpost, but there wasn't any food that caught our eye. They did have some new beverages that looked interesting, but not nearly as enticing as the next drink we're going to pick up. Also on our walk, before we go anywhere else for food, I just have to talk about this incredible 50s style artwork by Scooter. I've seen this before on our travels in Disneyland. I just absolutely adore the animation style. I adore what Mickey and Minnie are wearing as they're taking part in both hanging out in the resorts or going on rides like the teacups over there. You have Mickey who's driving Minnie, with the Walt Disney tags 1901 as they're going to to Walt Disney World where dreams come true with Tinkerbell as the hood ornament. I just love this art style. I think it's so cute.
Here we have the influencer, with great trepidation making her way through the crowds of people whilst carrying her quarry. In her hands features the beverage of influencers and their like, the rosé. Yes, not a drink, not a wine, it is a seltzer, but this is a play on rosé. What we know about the influencer species is they love to play, mostly when it involves food or beverage. Now, looking quite perplexed on where to travel next, walking once more with very small and shallow steps as to not disturb her quarry. She has arrived, bringing with her her prey. A play on rosé.
Picked up the, as Alan explained, play on rosé from Pastoral Palette, which is here in Germany, a very popular booth. This is my reminder to remember to pack your patient pants, especially if you're coming on the weekend of a festival, because it will be busy. Most of this line is waiting for the short rib, which they're having a little backup on. We had that last year. It's good, but we didn't choose to get that one again. But what I couldn't resist getting again, my favorite drink at the festival, the Play on Rosé Flight. You've got the Three Daughters Brewing Rosé Hard Cider, the 81 Bay Brewing Co. Rosé Blonde Ale, and a frozen rosé, a frosé, if you will. You can get a full size of any of these, but I love that I don't have to choose.
Rosé all day, baby.
I'm going for the cider to start.
I'm going for the ale. Mostly because I know that Molly desperately wants that frosé too.
I do love a frosé.
Here we are. Cheers. Clink. Yeah, that's my favorite.
I'm not always a cider girly because they often get too sweet, but because it's a rosé cider, you can still taste the apple-y component of it, but primarily you can taste that nice dry rosé.
And this is just a very classic ale with some hints of that floralness from the rosé. I'm a big fan of that ale. The ale's my favorite bit of this three.
And now the frosé, which honestly I didn't think we would get to enjoy as much today, but it's warmed up a bit. Oh, it's so good. Sometimes frosé gets too sweet depending on what they add into it, but you can tell that was made with a nice dry rosé. Perfect if it is a warmer day, but I personally love the flight because you get to try all three. This is on my best of the fest. This is my favorite drink option at this festival.
Well, we found Pascal hidden throughout the Germany pavilion, but it's not a festival if we don't stop by this little miniature town where they have the train running. They decorate for every festival. It would be rude of us to not visit them. Look at how, wait. Molly, look, you can see that the different sidewalks here are shaped like palettes. That's so fun.
I think that's always there, but we can pretend it's for Festival of the
No,
Arts.
it's definitely for Festival of the Arts, just shaped like palettes. Look at that.
Absolutely.
And then there's the train. Right on time.
I don't think anyone's drunk yet.
Nobody's fallen over.
Everybody's keeping it together.
Is
I'm
it
proud
just
of
too
you.
early in the hold on, let's not speak too soon. That doctor over there is using that porch as support.
Oh, yeah, I maybe wouldn't trust
Yeah,
him.
maybe go back on a not weekend day for his diagnoses.
Briskly moved through the Italy pavilion, not stopping at that food studio. Italy, you know what you've done.
I'm upset.
Plus, both the dishes have pesto, so that's a no-go for Alan's allergy. However, we did stop to see the cute Luca-inspired chalk art characters, and now we are in the American Adventure Pavilion, where we are going to grab some food and talk about one of the highlights of the event, the Disney on Broadway series. The Disney on Broadway concert series takes place right here in the American Gardens Theater 3 times nightly. Features Broadway stars that have been in Disney productions such as Frozen, The Lion King, Mary Poppins, The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Aida, and more. This is a ton of fun, especially because the performers not only sing songs from the shows that they were in, but other Disney shows as well. My personal favorites, Lion King is my favorite Disney movie. I love the music from that. So I'm very excited that tonight we have Casey Levy, who is the original Elsa from Frozen, as well as Jelani Remy, who is from The Lion King. Now, if you really want to see the show, if there's a performer you're really excited about, you can get reserved seating with the dining packages. You can book these in advance at restaurants such as Chefs de France, Garden Grill, Le Crêperie, La Hacienda Sen Hen Hill, etc. And it will give you not only a meal there, but reserved viewing for the show. There's also a quick service dining package at Regal Eagle, which is the most cost-effective way to get reserved viewing. It's $39 for adults, $23 for kids. This is same day only, and it's only subject to availability. So if they don't book up through the sit-down restaurants, they will offer it at Regal Eagle. But if you are a fan of musical theater or Disney music, I highly recommend checking out the concert series. Also taking place right here is the Animation Academy. This happens a couple times throughout the day, where a character artist will teach you how to draw a Disney character, similar to the experience they have over at Animal Kingdom, and that's a lot of fun as well.
Swung by the artist table to pick up our next batch of food, but there were no tables, so you know what that means. It's trash can table time. It's trash can table time. Ba-ba-da.
That was an eagle, if that wasn't clear.
It wasn't. I'm so happy that you explained it.
Yeah.
From the artist table, we have picked up the deviled egg trio. This is pimento cheese, green goddess, and BLT deviled eggs. Molly's pumped. We have also picked up the chicken and then in air quotes pot pie with smoked cheddar mornay sauce, roasted vegetables, pickled mushrooms, wasabi peas, and sherry chicken jus, served open-faced on a flaky pie crust. This is a pizza, folks. Can we just call it what it is? This is a pizza. And we ended with a beer flight.
First, BLT egg. Delicious creamy egg filling, slight sweetness from the bacon. It's like it was a glazed bacon. Fantastic. Next, green goddess. Also, I like that they're securing the egg with a little bit of the egg mixture. Ooh! She's tangy. She's earthy. And the one I'm most excited for, pimento cheese. Give me 20 of these. Give me 20 to eat this. You're gonna be so happy. Pimento cheese is number one by a landslide, then BLT, then Green Goddess. But as someone who loves deviled eggs as much as Ron Swanson, I'm so thrilled that this exists.
If I wanted to bring a large number of deviled eggs, but I didn't want to share them with anyone else.
Best of the fest, easy.
There was a time where I was considering using a fork and knife to eat this. The problem is, I don't have a knife. Cheers. I beg your finest pardon. Hold on, I'm glitching out a little bit. That is so good. That's the best thing I've eaten today. I would only eat this. First, let's start with the crust, that flaky pie crust. Brilliant, buttery, love it. Cheese sauce on the bottom acting as your binder. Tastes like a fondue, like a delightful Thanksgiving fondue. I didn't even know that was a thing I wanted in my life, but now I do. Chicken, cooked and seasoned well with those wonderfully earthy spices, the rosemary, the thyme, and then the gravy on top. Normally I don't like brown gravy. This is so light, it only adds a little bit of that heaviness and richness to the dish. And then the mushrooms and the fresh veg. There's no question. This is the best of the fest. I don't think it's particularly close.
And now, the beer flight.
Cheers.
I have the lager.
I have the Wicked Weed Pineapple IPA.
Wait.
We're trading? Oh, we're trading. Oh, that's good too.
This is the first time I've had a Wicked Weed beer that doesn't taste like plants.
Like a Wicked Weed.
It tastes like pineapple, which I don't love.
I do love this. Pineapple. You have the pine of the IPA coming through. This is an IPA that tastes like an IPA, just a little bit of sweetness from the pineapple.
This lager is awesome and possibly my favorite beer we've had today. It's light, it's crisp, it has a citrus note to it, which I'm enjoying.
You tasty.
Yeah, that was a banger. And now the peanut butter.
Peanut butter chocolate, right?
It tastes like if a Reese's cup was a beer. Like you can distinctly taste peanut butter and chocolate. This is as much as I want of something like that because it's so heavy, but It's delicious. I like this flight too. The flights have been very good today.
Yeah, so far 3 for 3.
4 for 4 if you count rosé.
Oh, I thought it'd be 4 for 4 if you count the deviled eggs.
So many flights. We're an airport.
Yeah. Make sure your tray tables are in their full and upright and locked position, folks. I'm gonna go back to the pot pie now.
Okay. And whilst it's very important that we just found 2 of the best items at the festival,
True.
maybe the most important thing that's happened since we got into the American Adventure Pavilion was we popped in to see the Voices of Liberty. And y'all, they have new costumes. They no longer look like accountants and or cruise singers. They now have more period appropriate costumes, brand new debuted for the festival, but they'll be around all the time. And very fun, they're made out of recycled materials.
We love that.
We love that, and we love the Voice of Liberty. They're so talented.
It's nutty they're so, each one individually and as a group, so very talented.
And come check them out and see their new costumes.
Yeah.
Also, I spotted our next character art, which was Miko.
Oh.
Miko and Flit bopping about over there.
Next up on our stroll across the World Showcase would be funnel cakes. But I'm not going to mar my palate after having potentially the best dish I'll have all day with a funnel cake. And you know what they said to themselves in that kitchen? They said, let's take an already deplorable food item and make it even worse by adding synthetic cotton candy flavoring to it. So something that's already sweet, deep fried, and oily, we're gonna cover that in some sugary air. Yeah, that sounds like a tasty treat for the senses, a bit of artistry on the plate. Needless to say, it shan't be enjoyed here, which means that there is more for those of you who do enjoy this treat.
Did some exploring in the Japan Pavilion to find Duffy and Gelatoni, as well as the sushi chef from Harryhausen's in Monsters, Inc. That sneaky, squeaky cephalopod was up on the second story of the pavilion this year. And we also stopped by the Goshiki booth, which is the food studio in Japan, and picked up these 2 items. This is the new version of the Wagyu bun. It's a steamed bun filled with American Wagyu beef, served with a Japanese karashi mustard sauce and a violet shiso sauce. We also got the Yuzu IPA. Pretty sure on our master plan we were gonna get the small pour, but someone in a real Chaos Twin move came back with a bigger one. I'm not mad though. Atlas Fusion, the band in Morocco, crushing right now. Cheers. That's incredibly delicious. There's a good amount of that Wagyu in there. The first bite I had was mostly bun, but then I took another bite. It's like an elevated version of my beloved cheeseburger pod over at Animal Kingdom. Obviously better beef. I love the mustard, which is adding a little bit of zip, a little bit of tang. There's a slight sweetness as well from that violet sauce. This is fantastic and potentially a best of the fest contender.
Oh no, we have a 12-ounce Yuzu IPA. Cheers. That is a traditional IPA flavor. You get the pine notes on the front, but it fades really quickly to the flavor of yuzu, which is a mix of like a mandarin and a grapefruit. So citrusy, light, very refreshing. Not often do we find a sipping IPA, but I'm very pleased with my decision on a 12-ounce versus a 5.
Popped into another studio because I saw a piece that I really love. But one thing I wanted to point out, one of my best pro tips for coming to the festival is you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on art if you see something you like. They often have postcard versions of things, which are $6.99. And this year, I haven't seen these before, they also have what they're calling mini prints, which are a little bit more sturdy and they come with a frame. These are $14.99, so those are definitely well priced. pretty inexpensive souvenirs in the grand scheme of things, and really unique. Like, look how fun this Dalmatians one is with Pongo and Roger looking out the window and Perdita and Anita walking by. Also, if you want to go a little bit bigger than that, you can do the deluxe prince for $44.99. But I've gotten several of these before, and this is the piece that I really liked of the kind of your classic characters bopping down Main Street, having a good time. And look, I could get a mini print of it for $15, so that's really fun. Oh my gosh, look at this Remy! Swung through Morocco, found that curious little Abu, and then stopped by the Tangerine Cafe to get our next item. Now, I should note I am a huge fan of the stone-baked bread and dips that they seem to have year-round there, but we went ahead and picked up a custard that is going to be the next item on our wonderful walk of colorful cuisine. But before we get into that, I want to highlight another very cute detail they have at the festival, and that's that some of the characters that do meet and greets around the park have portraits next to them drawn by someone that loves them. So you can see here that Belle's was drawn by a contraption rigged up by her father Maurice, Snow White's by the Wishing Well was painted by Doc, and Donald Duck's was drawn by Donald Duck, because he is his own #1 fan, which I can appreciate. Also, we couldn't find a table, so you know it's time for Allen Table Time. It's Allen Table Time.
I'm a table.
And here we have the avocado coconut custard tart. It's got pomegranate cream and henna-inspired jelly veil. Jelly? Gelée. Gelée. Jelly. Anyway, this is both plant-based and on the wonderful walk of colorful cuisine. Jelly. I thought it would be a monkey. You know, despite reading that this is going to be jelly, I really thought it was going to be like crumbly, like a glass, like a sugar glass, but it's not. It's as advertised. I'm either going to love or hate this texture. Not a liar. That's the first thing I could say about this dish. We do not appreciate when food lies. So, step 1. Okay. So, looking at it, I want it to be lime, but it's avocado. But it doesn't taste like avocado. It kind of is like the dessert version of the avocado margarita at La Cava del Tequila that so many people love. So if you don't like avocados, I don't think that's a problem. Texturally, it's very creamy. If that is going to throw you off, then I would not recommend it. I like the nice crispy shell. I really like the pomegranate sauce here. Is this my favorite dessert? Probably not, but I appreciate that it's light, it's refreshing, it's a little bit different. So go ahead and give it a whirl, especially if you're a plant-based eater. I think you'll enjoy this.
I also love that you're headed into Vibrante y Vivido. There is an entire section dedicated to explaining the art, music, and architecture of Encanto and going a little bit more in detail into the story and why it's important. These types of things are always a fun read. All right, so because the queues are getting quite long here today, Molly and I have divided and conquered. We did a little bit of the double booth boogie, as being demonstrated by Molly. I went to the Vibrante y Vivido Encanto Cocina and picked up the chorizo and potato empanada with turmeric aioli and annatto aioli. Molly went to L'Art de Cuisine Française and picked up creme de brie and petit pain, so a warm creamy brie in a house-made bread bowl. Bowl of hot cheese. Gotta have a bowl of hot cheese. And also picked up the Petivier de Canard et Volaille. Volaille? Volaille. That's what I'm going to go with. Sauce canard. This is puff pastry with duck, chicken, onions, mushrooms, cranberries, and a duck sauce. It should be noted that this empanada is on the wonderful walk of colorful cuisine. So cheers. We have another stamp closer to completing that walk. Crispy exterior, very flaky. The interior, you have some spice. This does have spice. So if you're a spice averse, maybe this isn't for you. I love it. Chorizo on the inside with potato cooked well, nice and fluffy, plenty of filling, and then you have both aiolis on top, complementing the flavors nicely. The turmeric adding a little bit of earthiness, and then you have some nuttiness as well. Yeah, this is it was Best of the Fest last year. It's back on my list this year.
First up, the duck, which I do feel a little weird about eating right next to Uncle Waldo.
He's a goose.
He's a goose, but it's pretty close, but hopefully he's drunk and isn't paying attention.
Seems safe.
Oh my God. This bird is delicious. That is so good. Unbelievable. Okay, first of all, the French know what they're doing with a flaky puff pastry. No surprise there. The duck sauce is rich and savory and fatty. And then you've got the duck, which is a little bit fattier, darker meat than the chicken, but both are cooked perfectly, moist, delicious. You've got this cranberry in there to add a little bit of tartness to break up all of that meaty flavor. And it is just seasoned to perfection. I'm tasting sage, rosemary, thyme. Like this is my assumption, like a French version of chicken pot pie or comfort food, and it is phenomenal. At every EPCOT festival, I take that back. I don't remember Flower and Garden off the top of my head, but at least 3 of the EPCOT festivals, you know I gotta have bowl of hot cheese. You got the fondue at Germany and Festival of the Holidays. You got Canadian cheddar cheese soup at Food and Wine, and here at Festival of the Arts, we got bowl of brie from France. Cheers. And bowl of brie rises above the rest when it comes to bowl of hot cheese. Number 1, the French know how to bake bread. It is delicious, light, perfect, little bit of crustiness on the outside, and then you've got literally just a bowl of melted brie cheese. Brie cheese is delicious. What is not to like about this? Best of the fest, as always. Actually, both of these might make my list.
I mean, if you're lactose intolerant, it's pretty tough. But...
Oui, France.
Heading a little bit deeper into the France Pavilion, and we'd pass by a portrait of Aurora that, if you look at it, it is made by both Flora and Merryweather, but Flora has had her name crossed out by Merryweather, as, of course, those are the 2 of the good fairies that constantly fight over the color of Aurora's dress. Make it pink.
Make it blue.
All right, we are on the lookout for some more additional characters here towards the back of the France Pavilion. We've already seen Uncle Waldo, Abigail, and Amelia, as well as, I'm pretty sure, unless I'm sorely mistaken, the squirrel from The Sword and the Stone who desperately loves Merlin and sort of longs after Merlin in squirrel form. And I think they should belong in the UK, but neither here nor there, because you know who is appropriately found? Remy and Emile here on the wall. All right, here is Squirrel Merlin, Squirlin, if you will. And I don't see his compatriot who is very much in love, but you know who I do see? I do see Arthur and the squirrel that falls in love with him up there. So I have now confirmed my theory that Merlin's squirrel love was relocated to France, ? We also have Peter Pan's shadow up there waiting outside the window. Probably trying to, avoid Peter Pan, but Peter Pan is probably listening to Wendy Darling's stories. And rounding out the United Kingdom, from which we get so many stories, we have Ratigan's blimp from The Great Mouse Detective. Honestly, that clock sequence in that movie is an absolute nightmare. Also, Ratigan's transformation sequence, also nightmare.
The little bat that helps him is so scary.
Oh, and the good mice on the other side, of course, led by Basil.
Won't you join me on a stroll through the place I like to call the pavilion I currently am? In.
Nice.
We're in Canada, and have found the last chalk art here in World Showcase. It is sweet little Coda, the bear from Brother Bear, catching a fish. I love him so much. What a great movie.
No Kenai, though.
Good. Kenai doesn't deserve chalk art for what he's done.
You know what you did.
He knows what he did. Literally, he really does. It's kind of the whole plot of the movie. We did another double booth boogie Canadian edition because both of these booths technically reside in Canada. First up, Alan stopped by Gourmet Landscapes to pick up the wild mushroom risotto with aged Parmesan, truffle shavings, and a Zinfandel reduction. And I should have put Parmesan in air quotes because this is a plant-based dish, meaning they are using plant-based Parmesan. And then I went to Refreshment Port to get the caprese poutine, which has got Tuscan spiced french fries, confit tomatoes, slivered garlic, mozzarella pearls, basil pesto, shaved pecorino cheese, and a balsamic glaze. And yes, Alan can enjoy this because it is tree nut safe. It is a nut-free pesto.
All right, let's again. I was going to say I have high hopes. I just have hopes. I don't know if they're high or not. Cheers. I'm pleasantly surprised by this. It's still creamy. It has the Zinfandel, a little bit of acidity coming through from that reduction. It's earthiness coming from those mushrooms. The miss for me is the cheese. It doesn't have that nutty quality that you would expect from a Parmesan cheese. And texturally, it's throwing me off a little bit, but let's say removing that, the risotto itself, solid risotto.
All right. This has got a heaping pile of toppings on it. I'm trying to get a piece with all the flavors. As someone who loves a caprese salad, this is a really fun take on it. The French fries themselves are delicious. I love the Tuscan spices. You're getting a lot of like oregano, a lot of pizza spices, and I mean this as a compliment. It's kind of like when they made pizza Pringles and it's just oregano. That's kind of what the French fries themselves taste like. But then you've got the nice herby pesto, you've got the big chunks of nice cheese, a little bit of acidity and sweetness from the tomatoes. Big shareable dish. This is excellent. Every festival, there's one dish that's so Instagrammable, you have to buy it just to take a picture of it. But is it actually good? We're gonna find out. At Festival of the Arts this year, it's the Imagination Cone, inspired by Figment. It's bubblegum ice cream.
And it's melting.
Oh my God. Figment, I hate you. It's so sweet. It's so artificially sweet. It kind of tastes like when you go to the dentist as a kid and they're like, hey, do you want a toothpaste that's flavorful to make the teeth brushing thing more fun? And you're as a kid like, bubble gum. That's what it tastes like. I hate it. I'm gonna be very honest. I hate it, which means if you're a kid, you're gonna love it.
Oh, wow.
The real art is cast members. I don't know if that works, but we're going with it. A very sweet cast member saw my face eating the bubblegum one and said, here, try this. It's strawberry. It's our most popular. You might like that one better. It's strawberry Dole Whip. And yeah, that's 1,000 times better. One thing I will note is they have a Dole Whip flight here, and it comes with different toppings, so you can kind of do a create your own Dole Whip situation. Flavor-wise, I would definitely recommend this, but the Figment Cone was cute at least.
We did one final double booth boogie with Molly doing the ever more complex double booth boogie dance. It is. What we picked up were from the Craftsman's Courtyard and Pop Eats. From the Craftsman's Courtyard, we picked up the beef Wellington-inspired croissant supreme with creamed spinach croissant pinwheel, mushroom gorgonzola ragu, mustard grilled flank steak, red wine sauce, and pickled mustard seeds, as well as the coffee old-fashioned cocktail. This is Joffrey's Coffee Cold Brew, simple syrup, orange bitters, and Jim Beam Kentucky Straight Bourbon. I know who that's going straight towards. From Pop Eats, we gathered the tomato soup with pimento cheese, bacon, and a fried green tomato grilled cheese. I'm very excited. I remember this being quite tasty last year, and I am hopeful that it is this year too. You obviously dip, right? Like that is the obvious way. Toasty exterior bread, buttery and light. Fried green tomato, a little bit crisp and tart on the inside. And maintain the crispness, even with being melted along with that just delightful pimento cheese, nice and creamy, cheesy. And then the smoky bacon. This is a combo that was built to be successful. Best of the fest. You know those Disney commercials? It's a little girl, shows up to the parks, meets so many different characters. And then suddenly you see the iconic shoes of one Mickey Mouse. And looking up at Mickey, she says,
I've been waiting my whole life to meet you.
I've been waiting my whole day to eat you. I'm excited. You get out of town.
That is cutting very easy.
Oh my God. All right, hold on. Here we go. We have it. Let's see why the line was so long. Dang. Wow. Tender beef, buttery croissant, the cream spinach and mustard come together for like an earthiness that's added to the mustard as well. That just cuts through a lot of the richness of this dish. This is just so much, there's so much depth of flavor here. Is it weird to have two Best of the Fest back to back? I'm getting the nod no from behind the camera. If you don't get this, honestly I'll say this, if you don't get this or the, what are you doing? You gotta get it.
Cheers. It's like Festival of the Arts was like, Molly, we know you're coming. Here's a little gift from us to you. Because it's a Joffrey's Old Fashioned. It's my two favorite things. Now, it is slightly sweeter than I would normally want an Old Fashioned. It's closer to an espresso martini in that aspect, but it's delicious. You gotta like coffee because that's definitely the strongest flavor. It's phenomenal, no notes. Made it to Deco Delights, our final booth of the day, and picked up the almond frangipan cake, which is a layered cake with raspberry jam and Belgian chocolate. This was also our final entry from the wonderful Walk of Colorful Cuisine, and then definitely wasn't on my list, but I couldn't resist the new take on the Neapolitan beer flight. This is a very unique beer flight they've done in the past, but it's all new drinks this time. You've got the Three Daughters Brewing Vanilla Bean Ice Cream Beer, the Keel Farm Strawberry Shortcake Hard Cider, and the Left Hand Brewing Company Milk Stout with Cocoa Nut, again being your kind of Neapolitan ice cream, so that's fun. And then Deco Delights is also where you redeem your wonderful Walk of Colorful Cuisine. And this year the prize is a crisp rice cereal treat, aka a Rice Krispie treat, and you can see that it's actually got colorful Rice Krispies in there and then some frosting and an edible Figment on there. Pretty cute, and I do like that it's packaged so you can take it and save it for later because obviously we've been eating all day.
So pretty. How do I?
It's like fondant, isn't it?
It is.
She's thick.
Cheers. I'm so perplexed. I like the raspberry. I think the chocolate filling's nice, but the almond cake is very thick. I mean thick. It is tough to get through with a fork, and I would expect something that is that dense to also be moist. And it is for a little bit, and then it becomes quite dry. And I really want to get to tasting this beer flight because of that. I think the filling is fine. This cake, honestly, I don't need to get again, if I'm being honest.
All right, and our flight, I'm starting with strawberry.
I'll do the milk stout.
With the cocoa nut.
Cocoa nut.
All right,
Here we are getting a firm grip. Here we go.
cheers.
Cheers. That is thick.
That is sweet.
Want to trade?
That definitely tastes like cake. Like I've had strawberry beer before, like a Beta strawberry, but that tastes like not just strawberry in beer or cider, it tastes like cake. It's too sweet for me, unfortunately.
Yeah. The coconut is a thick stout style beer.
Oh, that I like.
I enjoy it more than the strawberry, to be certain.
Yeah, but I like the peanut butter stout earlier much more.
I agree. And that's the one I like the most, the vanilla.
I agree. It's just a hint of sweetness in a classic beer.
Yeah. I know it has ice cream listed in the title. I don't get any of that sort of like milky or creaminess from this. It actually is more like an ale than anything. I really like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, but overall this beer flight, not near as good as some of the other ones we've had. Deco Delights, you were a Deco just fine.
All right, well, that brings us to the end of our eating on this Festival of the Arts day.
We gave ourselves a $200 budget and we did not stick to it.
That's true.
Things happen.
Yeah, I don't regret the yuzu beer.
I do regret the last beer flight.
But I guess that begs the question, how much did we go over?
I believe, by my calculations, that we went over $19.65.
Nice. So not an egregious amount over, but, enough to sample some new things.
And let you know what to and not to eat, so maybe you don't blow your budget.
Yeah, that's a good spin on that.
Yeah.
But with the budget established, all that remains is the best and worst of the fest. Molly, what are we kicking it off with?
We got to start with the worst. You got to start low and get higher. There are two things that really stand out for me, but the one I would rather never eat again in my whole life is the bubblegum flavored ice cream from the Imagination Cone at Swirled Showcase. I hated it.
For me, whoo boy, as not great as that bubblegum cone was, the shrimp dumplings from China were a flavor that I do not desire to ever experience again. And now it is time for the best of the fest. For me, the carne asada from Mexico. the chicken pot pie, in quotes, from the American Adventure, the beef Wellington croissant from Craftsman's Courtyard, the pimento cheese grilled cheese from Pop Eats, the empanada from Vibrante y Vivido, and the yuzu IPA from Japan.
And for me, the squid ink pasta from Fictional Victionals, the deviled egg flight from the Artist's Table, the duck pot pie, for lack of a better pronunciation in French, from the France Pavilion, the caprese poutine from Refreshment Port, the play on rosé flight from Germany, and of course, the bowl of hot cheese from France, #1 forever and always in my heart. And now we're gonna dash literally as far away as possible in World Showcase back to the American Adventure.
Really poor planning on our part.
So that we can watch the Broadway performance.
All right. See you there.
To spare, and we're able to still get great seats. The theater doesn't fill up quite as much for Broadway stars as it does for like Boyz II Men, which
is a shame.
I love Boyz II Men, but these people are so incredibly talented.
I mean, they were both so very good, but I mean, her pipes are
She was unbelievable. Hearing the original Broadway Elsa sing Let It Go, I mean, immediate chills, tears, like, it was. These sets are so fun, and they're always different because the performers get to pick what they want, so they pick from a variety of Disney on-Broadway songs, not just the shows that they're in. No. So we got a little Tarzan.
And I think what I'm most excited about is we got a little bit of The Greatest Showman to end it all out.
Which is coming to Broadway, and I will be sat.
Front row. Well, not front row, that's pretty close. I'll be close.
We'll be there, because that music is unbelievable.
Even if I'm like a wall gremlin, I will be watching that musical.
I can't wait. But if you're here and you like Disney music or Broadway, you have to see the shows. They're amazing.
Yeah, gotta check it out.
Now, with any good event at Walt Disney World, you know there's going to be merchandise, so we're headed into Creation Shop to check out the Festival of the Arts exclusive collection. And as always, Figment fans, this collection is for you. We've got Festival of the Arts Spirit Jersey starring Figment, Festival of the Arts T-shirt starring Figment, Ornament starring Figment, Hat, weirdly, oh, there he is, Tervis Tumbler starring Figment, Loungefly with Figment, Lug Life brand satchel starring Figment, slightly larger Lug Life satchel featuring Figment, glow-in-the-dark ears with Figment, pass holder exclusive T-shirt with Figment. I like that this is embroidered. Pass holder exclusive notebook and pen starring Figment. Not festival exclusive, but I do think it's fun that Figment has his own little golden book. A Pandora charm with Figment. And wrapping out the merchandise, you've got a variety of pins. You've got a Figment pin, a different Figment pin, a different Figment pin, yet another Figment pin, and a pass holder Figment pin. So for those counting, that's 5 different Figment pins for the Festival of the Arts. And on our way to the front of the park to enjoy the Spaceship Earth light show, we noticed one more chalk character. It's Bebe Groot, working on this plant wall here.
These nighttime shows on Spaceship Earth are the remnant of the beacons from the 50th anniversary. You see, EPCOT was given these lights and still remains the prettiest girl in school, and every festival after sundown shows begin to play on these lights. Now for this festival we have Rainbow Connection and Figment alongside the quote standard unquote show that runs here, and they're just such a fun way to end your evening at the park. Well, that brings us to the end of the first festival of 2025. Can you believe that?
I can't believe we're already in 2025. But what I love about this festival more than any of the others, as much as I love eating and drinking, there's so much to do and see at this festival. I think this festival is great for everyone. I love the paint by numbers. I love looking at all the different artist booths, the performances. There's just a lot to do at this festival, and it's a really nice time.
And I think one of the most important things, at least for me, is that this festival gives space to highlight the arts, be they visual, performing, whatever it may be. This festival gives a space to highlight that. Art is important, and it lives here.
Let us know if you are headed to Festival of the Arts this year down in the comments and what you're excited to try.
But until next time, friends, please be sure to like this video, subscribe if you are new, follow us on all of our socials. Come join us on Discord. We'd love to have you there. Links for all that are down below.
And check out our Patreon. We've got behind the scenes content and more. And until next time, friends, I'm Molly.
And I'm Alan.
And it has truly been colorful and magical.
I'll take your word for it. That's a colorblind joke.